Hi everyone, this is Amiro and I'm so thrilled to welcome all of you to the drawing courses series. Here we start the basic course with gesture 1, which is this session, first week. So each course has 8 weeks, 8 topics that we talk about. Let me just recap what are the topics for the basic course. We start today with gesture 1, and then the second week, quick sketch session. Then the third week, we're going to have forms and connection. Fourth week, landmarks and proportions. Fifth week, part to part. Sixth week, portrait. Seventh week, drapery. And at the end, last week, we have light and shadow. I'm really happy that we start this learning journey with gesture, which is the understanding of movement in any object, particularly in human body. I also explained to you the structure, anatomy and structure of human body, and see how it's, how it's built, what are the functions of different parts, how head, rib cage, pelvis are connected, and most importantly, how we can transform that into geometrical shapes in order to facilitate the execution of drawing and this visual translation. As you can see here, we have 3 master drawings from Raphael, Michelangelo, and Da Vinci. In these 20 minutes, I'm gonna analyze all of these and explain to you the process of how you can start and draw a gesture, and also develop a way of seeing, movement, rather contour lines, which is a different topic. All right, if you're ready, let's get started. I would start with drawing of Da Vinci. The most important thing that you have to keep in your mind is the fact the human body is not like this in the side view. It's not coming down straight forward. It has a really nice flow from head to toe, where you see this curve going backward, and then rib cage goes forward, pelvis goes backward, and through this rhythm, back and forth, we can maintain our balance. And this is a great way to contribute the weight throughout the body. So that's the first thing to grasp and understand here. In order to do so, I need to show you one of the studies of Da Vinci, actually, of skeleton. All right. So here you can see on this drawing, you can see that the spine has this curves, and they are 3 actually. We have cervical section, thoracic section, and lumbar. So 1, 2, 3. Thus, you see in this drawing that we have 1, 2, and 3 movements, okay, on torso. And that's fundamental to learn. And then rib cage has this form that goes forward, and pelvis also is following the direction of lumbar section and goes backward. All of this creates a really nice rhythm in your drawing. The risk that most of the time students have is making their drawings stiff, though they are putting a lot of amount of detail in order to kind of make that fascinating, beautiful. But the actual beauty is this rhythm, this flow, which is going to be covered by other details that later on we're gonna add to our drawings, like anatomy, light and shadow, drapery. But understanding this structure is essential. Okay, having said that, let me continue drawing this. You can also draw it along with me if you want. All right. So what's the process in gesture drawing? You have to take a look at two lines here. One vertical line and the other one is horizontal. Okay. So one vertical line here. The other one is horizontal, that I call the balance lines. Okay. So first of all, look at this balance line. After that, I would start putting a real simple form for the head. And then I start putting the direction of the spine. So let me just write down here, gesture process. First, you start putting balance lines. Then you can work on head. Could be a simple oval shape or circle. Then third thing is torso. So let me finish that. Okay. So here we have head, rib cage, and pelvis. After finishing torso, we have to add legs. There we go. And arms at the end. But notice that I'm not using symmetrical curves. If I put all these curves in front of each other, they're gonna cancel out the flow and movement. Okay, the gesture in my drawing. So we don't want this happen in our work. Instead, what I'm doing is creating pairs of lines that have the same direction, like this. Okay. And by putting them like that together, you're creating a really nice rhythm. Okay, look at this. Let me change the color. From head to toe, you've got this nice and fluid curve, and that creates the beauty in your works. Okay, it's almost like waves, this undulating kind of movement. And that's what we are looking for. The reason I chose this drawing of Da Vinci is exactly this. So I'm just giving you some tools to use, and also telling you things to avoid. For example, these symmetrical curves. Okay, so try to always maintain this zigzag movement in your work. You can see that also here. You might tell me, okay, how we can add these curves here, because I didn't do that. I call them complementary curves. And I show you that with another color. So what happens here in the rhythm of the body, you have one point, for example, on the leg, you have one point here, because I told you they are not in front of each other, never. So you won't see legs like this, chicken legs. But there's always one point higher than the other. Okay, and this is the way that they work. I try to show you what happens here. After you put down that simple gesture of legs, arms, torso, then you can gradually add these complementary curves here, like this on the knee. Here as well. So we can add C curves and S curves. But doing this also entails a good knowledge of anatomy. So don't rush to do that, because later on I will also explain to you a bit of anatomy, the skeleton, muscles. But let's be patient in this journey. So first we start with the understanding of gesture. I'm gonna tell you what to do at home as your homework. All right, I hope this is clear so far. That was the process, or the way I look at the model or any other reference. I look at the balance line, then I start drawing head, torso, legs, arms at the end. I told you also to avoid these symmetrical curves. Don't put these curves in front of each other. Okay. Now we can start studying a bit this drawing of Michelangelo, which he did for as a study for David, statue of David. Okay, here again, I suggest another approach, another way to see that. First of all, try to limit the infinite space you have on paper by putting these borders. Okay, so imagine this is your paper. Put this border here. Put it frame. And then inside that, try to draw. You know what I say that? Because then you learn how to manage the space, positive and negative space. Okay? And you will learn how to maintain proportions as well. So in this drawing, I mean, in your mind you can have these vertical and horizontal lines like a textile. Okay? And you see that the head is right here on this line. Okay, so here's the start of it. I just put some points, some dots here. And this is another way of seeing the model. Look at this point here, from the shoulder to the rib cage. The direction of the shoulders, and then pelvis. And then from this point, you have this direction of the leg going down. So this would help you to get preciser and find exactly the placement of different parts of the body. So after this, we can start the process I was talking about: head, torso, legs, arms. Okay, because we put that guide on paper, and now can work more on the flow and rhythm of the body. Here it has a really nice perspective on the head. I love that. And I see this box. Alright, here's the shoulder. Let me change the color. So head, torso, don't think about anatomy and muscles. Try to simplify that. That's the magic word. Simplify. There we go. Then I add the other arm. Notice the type of lines I'm using there. All right, here's the supporting leg. There you go. And then there's no need really to focus on details in head, etc. But let's keep it simple like this. You can see this flow again. And that's what you have to focus on when you're doing gestures, okay? All right, now let's work on this drawing of Raphael. Look how I start that. Here you can see the spine. Look. Cervical, thoracic, and lumbar section. So just follow that. And then you can put this direction of shoulders. There's deltoid here. We call this pose contrapposto because you have the shoulders, the direction of the shoulders is opposite to direction of the pelvis. And this creates this type of overlaps. There we go. So notice that, again, leg is not like this, but there are three movements. One for the upper leg, second one is for the knee, so it goes outward. Then it comes back on the lower leg. All right, here's the supporting leg, and now I can add arms. Look at the type of lines I'm using. S curves, it's a combination of S curves, C curves. And we call them trajectory curves in general because the apex of the curve is, if it's the distance, basically length of the line, and we divide it into thirds. The apex is always on 1/3. It goes up, then it comes down. If it's an S curve, you have the same situation. Here's again AB. So it goes up here, comes down. But notice the pick point of these curves. So by putting these type of lines, you can create a really nice harmony. All right, I want to keep that really simple. So I think for the first session, that's enough. Best thing to do is you can continue studying these type of master drawings at home, or use any other reference, preferably standing for now, because next week I'm going to do quick sketches in different angles and positions. But for now, try to do at least 30 gesture studies and send them to me. Okay? All right. I hope you enjoyed this session. We'll see you in quick sketch class. So take care until then. Bye.